For lesson 2-7, we will solve equations with rational numbers. First step, we need to simplify both sides of the equations, which means combine like terms. All right, we've done this before. If you've had like 3a plus a equals 7, we would change the 3a plus a to be 4a equals 7. All right, we're going to combine like terms. Then we're going to get rid of any addition or subtraction to the side with the variable. Okay, it's backwards order of operations. Then we'll finally get rid of multiplication division to the side with the variable. All right, so here, step one, there's nothing to combine, so we'll just go to get rid of the addition subtraction to the side of the variable. So we have a positive 2.84, so we're going to get a negative 2.84 on both sides. All right, we're going to bring our g down, bring our equal sign down, and 3.62 minus 2.84 will give us 0.78. Okay, if you want, you can type that back in your calculator, add 2.84, and it does check off and give us 3.62. Okay, so g equals 0.78 is our final answer. All right, now I'm going to need to copy this down because I'm going to need more room here. So negative 4/5 equals s minus 2/3. All right, when I'm doing fractions, sometimes it just makes it easier if I add on the side here because we have fractions. All right, so I'm going to add 2/3 to both sides. All right, this here is going to cancel off and be 0, so we have s is equal to. Now, before I can do this, I'm going to have a common denominator here. So I'm going to need this to be 15, so multiply by 3 and 3, and 5 and 5. Okay, so we're going to get negative 12/15, and we're adding 10/15 for a grand total of negative 2/15 is equal to s. All right, and that's our final answer. We could plug that back in and check it if we want to. All right, so again, I'm going to copy this down because with fractions, I just need a little bit more room. So negative 2/5 equals x minus 3/4. So I'm going to add 3/4 to each side. All right, this here is going to be 0. So we're going to have x is equal to. Now, we're going to need to multiply both top and bottom by 4 to get a common denominator, and 5 here. So we're going to have 15/20 plus negative 8/20. All right, and so we're going to get x is equal to 7/20 after we find the difference there. We can't simplify that anymore, so we're done. All right, so again, dealing with fractions, so let's just go ahead and get this copied. 7/11c equals negative 21. All right, now normally we would take this coefficient, we would divide by the coefficient, but since this is a fraction, you can't divide by fractions. Instead, we multiply by the reciprocal. So multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Excuse me, that'll be 11/7. So whatever you do to one side, you have to do the same thing to the other. All right, since this is a integer, a whole integer, we'll go ahead and put that over 1 just to get it into fraction form. Okay, now watch what happens here. The 11s are going to cancel to be 1, 7s will cancel to be 1, and so we're just left with c. So that worked out nicely. Now, the 7 is going to be a 1, and the 21, it still stays negative, but we're going to get negative 3. Now, when we multiply across, we get negative 33, and we're done. If you want, you can check that by plugging that into your calculator and take negative 33 times 7 and then divide that by 11. And negative 33 times 7 is negative 231. Divide that by 11 and you're going to get negative 21, and that'll work out. All right, so now we'll copy this down. Actually, you won't need to. You could say 9.7t equals negative 67.9. All right, divide by the coefficient here. We can just divide by the coefficient right away because it's not a fraction. So 9.7, 9.7. All right, this will cancel. We have t is equal to negative 67.9 divided by 9.7 gives us 7. So now, Since it's negative 7, okay, we could take negative 7 times 9.7, and that gives us negative 67.9. So it's always important to check your answer by just plugging it into your calculator and substituting it back in the formula. If you get the same answer, you know you did it right. All right, you can determine the rate an object is traveling by dividing the distance it travels by the time it takes to cover the distance, r equals d over t. If an object travels at a rate of 14.3 meters per second for 17 seconds, how far does it travel? So it's traveling at a rate of 14.3. So let's plug 14.3 in for r. It's going for 17 seconds. So we're looking for how far distance, and the t would be 17 seconds. All right. So since we're dividing by 17, let's go ahead and multiply both sides by 17, or 17 over 1. All right, so the 17s will cancel. We get d is equal to 17 times 14.3 gives us 243.1. Now, it is a word problem, so we're going to say meters. You can say m, or you can write the whole word out, meters. That's fine. But since it is a word problem, you should have a label. All right, and that's our last example for today's lesson. Be sure to check the Moodle page to find out what your homework is.